Hey everybody, welcome to another installment of Brad Cooks Stuff. This week I had kind of an idea. So in Japan, eating food over rice is very common. Rice is a staple food in Asia. You can buy microwavable rice pretty easily, and I've used it before in other videos. And having things like grilled beef or pork, or chicken and egg, or other things on top of rice is pretty common here. So I've tried my hand at that before, and a couple of weeks ago I tried something that I thought made a pretty good dish, but I decided this week I wanted to improve on that. So tonight we're gonna have a little something over rice. Now, before I tell you what it is, let's take a look at the ingredients for the week and see what we're working with. Here are the ingredients for this week's dish. We start with some ground beef and pork mix and some ground chicken, both of which I got at a discount, some baby corn, or they call young corn here in Japan, some harissa, which is a very spicy sauce, and finally, some microwavable rice. All right, let's go ahead and get all of this meat into a pot. There's all of my ground meat, that is beef, pork, and chicken, in the pot. Let's go ahead and add a generous amount of this harissa. That should be enough, though I reserve the right to add more. Let's go ahead and mix all of this in. I ended up adding the entire jar of harissa to this triple ground meat mix, but I think we're going to add in some adobo seasoning to give it a nice salty taste. Now that my meat mixture is done, it's time to add the baby corn. That's 3 small trays of baby corn, broken up and sprinkled over top of this. Let's go ahead and mix it in. Well, that is a dense mixture of ground beef, pork, chicken, harissa sauce, and broken up baby corn. It's finally time to turn on the burner, so let's get this stuff cooking. I originally planned to cook this in my small pot, but because of the amount, I went ahead and moved it to a larger pot. Unfortunately, the larger pot isn't non-stick, so after I started cooking it immediately started to burn. So I've gone ahead and transferred it to my stew pot, which is plenty big. Let's go ahead and continue from here. Let's check in on the mix here and see what we got. All right. Ooh, it smells good. It smells spicy. This is very spicy stuff. All right, I think we need to cook it a little bit longer, though. Let's check on this one more time. All right. Oh, yeah, this is done. Let's go ahead and get it into a container. Now that I've got the topping for the rice done, let's go ahead and microwave this package of rice for 2 minutes. Well, there's my rice base. Let's go ahead and top it with our spicy triple meat and corn. I don't know about you, but that looks good. Let's eat. All right, moment of truth. I have here a bowl of microwave rice topped with a mixture of ground beef and pork, ground chicken, an entire jar of harissa, and 3 small trays of baby corn. So, this is something that took more work than I expected, only because I really didn't plan well for what size of pot I needed, but in the future, I think I know what I'll need to go with. So, first, oh man, that smells good. It smells meaty and spicy, all right? So, let's go ahead, give it a try, and see how it tastes. We get a nice bite here with some meat and some corn and plenty of rice. Check that out. Oh man. All right, that is great. First of all, you got that nice triple ground beef in there, but the baby corn gives it a nice crunch. And then, of course, it's nice and spicy, but the rice kind of gives it a little more substance and cuts down on the spice. So because that rice is in there, it's not as spicy as it might be if it were just by itself. Yeah, we didn't need the bite here. So aside from my own shortcomings with the pots here, this was not hard to make. I mean, obviously I had to buy some very specific ingredients, but to make it, I just put all of the ground meat into a pot, added the harissa, added the baby corn, added a little bit of adobo, and then just cooked it until it was done. The rice, I microwaved it. It's one of the simplest things around. But the end result here is, honest to God, delicious and very satisfying, and of course, very filling. Now, as for substitutions, obviously, I use 3 different kinds of ground meat. You can choose 1 or 2. That's fine. If you want to go a little bit lighter, you can just stick with only ground chicken or, say, ground turkey. Or you can go straight 100% beef if you really want to be hardcore. Doesn't really matter. If you don't want it quite as spicy, I don't know what to tell you. The entire design of this is to be very spicy. But if you can't get access to something like harissa or say sambal or like a Szechuan sauce, you could put in something like taco seasoning or anything like that. A powdered seasoning is just fine. As for the baby corn, I put it in because I love baby corn. I've liked baby corn since I was a kid, and I think it makes really nice addition to this dish. If you don't like it, leave it out. But at that point, it's just meat and rice, and it's a little less interesting, I think. Anyway, I have a pretty big bowl of this left, and I have a huge amount of the meat and corn left. You can see it kind of behind me next to the microwave there. So I can make this again more than once for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and finish what I've got here. It's kind of a late dinner for me. But as always, appreciate you guys stopping in, and we'll see you in the next video.